This video will walk you through how to set up and manage a weighted grade system within Desire2Learn. And it's going to be probably a little bit longer because there are a lot of things to talk about in building a gradebook. But if you selected to build a weighted gradebook based on percentages, you're in the right spot. And let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go to Gradebook and Grades within my class. I'm assuming that we've already gone into settings and chosen what type of gradebook we're going to set up, as well as all the other setup options. So the best place to go here is actually manage grades. So if I go in here, first thing to note is anything up top here in a weighted grade system is going to tell you that there is something out of place, something wrong with the setup that we've done so far. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go along. The first thing that we need to put in is grade categories, and so there's two different types of items that we can put in here. One is a grade item and the other is a grade category. Now categories are kind of our overarching papers or in-class assignments or something like that, even participation. And those are kind of the slices of the overall pie that we're going to put percentages to. And the items are what we're going to put in those categories to make up the actual grades. That's where we'll enter all of the grades. So we're going to go ahead and create a grade category here. We can call this papers, why not? We can enter a short name for this. I think papers is short enough, so I generally don't enter a short name. I don't need a description either. The weight for this in my course will say it's going to be 40%. Now, I generally do and allow category grade to exceed category weight just in case I end up giving extra credit. If you don't end up giving extra credit, there's no harm, no foul in checking it. So I go ahead and check that as well, and then we get to choose what kind of distribution we want to do with our category. We can manually assign weight to different items in the category. We can distribute weights by points, so we can make things, everything worth, say, 100 points, and then my final paper might be worth 200 points, so twice as much as any of my other papers. Or we can distribute weight evenly across all items. The nice thing about distributing weight evenly within a category is that you can actually now drop either highest or lowest non-bonus items for everybody in your class who you've entered grades for automatically. You don't have to do that manually. This is the only mode that allows you to do this. So now I'm going to go ahead and distribute weight by points. We'll go ahead and select that there. And then we go ahead and look at the bottom. We can look at some display options here. We can override the display options that we set in the settings area. For this particular one, I'm just going to go ahead and leave those at default, and I'll go ahead and save and close. Now, what we would do, what we can do here is we can look at our note. Our note has changed. We see that now it says final calculated grade sums to 40%, not 100%. So what we need to do is we need to make these categories. We need to have enough of them that we're going to get 100%, and then we can start adding assignments. So what I've done here with a little bit of magic is gone in and I've created I've created enough categories that we no longer have a note up top that says that our final calculated grade doesn't sum to 100%. I now have enough categories that at all sums. You can verify over on the right here in the last column. 40 and 10 is 50, 20 and 30 is 50. That's a total of 100%. But you'll notice that we now have group project sums to 0%, not 100%. I set group projects, the category down here at the bottom, to have weight manually assigned to it so that we can kind of take a look at what grade items will look like when they're manually assigned versus automatically assigned, which all these others are assigned by points, which was the one that I did before. So next step is actually creating items, things to put within here. So I'll go ahead and do a new item. 9 times out of 10, you're going to use numeric. That's where you actually enter a score, a 9 out of 10, a 94 out of 100, things like that. These others you may use in different circumstances, select box, pass, fail, formula, calculated, and text. But the only ones that will be part of a calculation, meaning the final calculated grade, are going to be numeric grade items. So I'll go ahead and select that. And we'll say this is group project 1. Now you have to have a name for your grade item. Again, you don't have to have a short name for your grade item, but if you have a lot of grade items in your course, a lot of assignments, you may want to go ahead and make a short name so that this is what will show up in the gradebook. Now, the most important part here that we have to do, and it's not required, so we can always make this mistake, but what we need to do is set a category for these. And so we know this is a group project right here, so we'll go ahead and click the drop down, and we're going to go, and now we can see all of our categories here, and select the group projects category. Okay. Maximum points, I like to grade on a scale of 100 here. And we can figure out what weight we want this to be within the category. So group project 1, it's not going to be worth as much as my second group project. So I'll say it's worth 30% of the group project category in total. The next step is to, can students get extra credit on this? I'm going to say yes. In a group project, I'll offer a little bit of extra credit for those who, really put in the effort there. The next is bonus. Now, if you check bonus, that means the entire assignment is a bonus assignment and is not actually part of the grade, it just adds on top of the grade. I do not want that for my grade item right now, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that. I leave the grade scheme as default, and for this case I'm not going to add a rubric, though you can always add a rubric if you're going to assess students with a rubric for a particular assignment. Again, if I look down here at the bottom and click Show Display Options, we see kind of a little bit of what we've seen before. Class average and grade distribution. We can override display options for this one single grade item in both the student view up top and the managing view, which is the instructor view on the bottom. I'm not going to do either of those. I'm going to go ahead and save, but I'm going to do Save and New so I can make a second grade item here. I'm going to go pretty quick through this so we can take a look, and I'll say this is Group Project 2, and I want, again, to grade out of 100. I will put in a short name of GP2 there, and the weight for this one, it's going to be 70%, and I'm going to say it can't exceed now. Again, I'll save, and I'll save and close this time, and now we can see a couple of things. First, we see final calculated grade sums to 170%, not 100%, and group project sums to 30%, not 100%. If we look down here, we can see a common mistake with a weighted grade book. I did not put group project 2 in a category, and I did this on purpose. So we can see any grade item is going to be white, a category will be gray, and a grade item that is within a category is going to be indented. Now I'm going to go back in, I'll just click on Group Project 2 real quick. I'll go ahead and assign the category to Group Project, save and close. And now we see all of my warnings up top are gone. Now we can go through and do a couple of different things, but really that's the basics other than doing a bulk edit here. We can take a look at bulk editing. And what we can set here, we can change categories, we can change the can exceed values, the weights of categories and grade items within a category, as well as the maximum points that we can grade on, name and short name. So there's a lot you can do within the bulk edit area. Now in an area like let's look in papers, I'm going to go ahead and make a new item real quick. I'll do numeric. We're going to skip past this first part, but I am going to select papers, okay? And when we look down, we don't have an option to enter weight anymore. And the reason for that is because this is all based on points. And so when I put in my maximum points here, I can click Save. Oops, let's put this in paper 1. We're just going to save so we're on the same page here. And now we see the weight is 100. Now if I do Save and New, and I make another item within that category, we'll call it Paper 2. I'll put it within the Papers category. And I'll say, hey, maybe this one's worth 150 points. And you see how it says click Save here. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And now we can see the weight has been set to 60 automatically. Now I didn't have to do anything, it's basing that off of the point values that I've put in there. And so it's scaled it based on the different point values. And so the advantage of selecting either distributing points evenly in a category or distributing weights by points is that D2L does all of the math for you within a category, and we don't have to manually assign those weights to assignments, and you can still get the desired outcome. That's the basics of a weighted gradebook. Now we can kind of look at entering grades here. The best way to do this is to go item by item. So if we go into paper 1, I click the drop down and click grade all. I can see all of my students. I can enter a grade for everybody, and I can also enter feedback on the right hand side. The very last column is an event log to see if a grade has changed, when it changed, and who changed it as well. Once I'm done entering information here, I can save and close. It warns me that I'm about to say to make changes, and I just say OK. You can do spreadsheet view, which will allow you to enter grades directly into the gradebook. You have to be careful though, because you can get timeouts or internet connectivity issues, and you lose any progress you made. So I generally recommend, if you're using spreadsheet view, go ahead and enter a few grades, maybe one column, and then once you're done, make sure you save and don't lose any of your work.